Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Georg Mayer. I'm the 3GPP SA chair, and due to the situation with the coronavirus, we are unfortunately not able this time to make a video right at the plenary meeting, but as usual in these times, in a sort of offline mode. I want to present a few highlights from last week's SA 88 meeting, which was an electronic meeting. And I just have summarized a few things on this and the next slide, and hope they give a good overview to you what actually happened and what are the next steps. So the meeting went on for 4 days, from Tuesday to Friday, and we had go-to-meeting sessions, like online sessions, 2 hours every day, which I want to say right up front was very beneficial. And we see now that 3GPP has worked on e-meetings in sort of an offline mode for half a year. The output is a bit less than we usually have from face-to-face meetings, but still the output is very stable and it's high quality. And so we were able to reach all our goals more or less in the envisioned time. And this is really a great success, I would say. It shows that we are capable of also moving forward 5G and the whole mobile ecosystem, even in this, well, dire times. We decided that all 3GPP elections will be postponed until PCG gives further guidance. So all the officials that are currently in place, they will not run for re-election or there will be no new elections until most likely October or even later. Depending on when PCG gives us guidance, and such discussions are currently ongoing, but that's practically only a side issue. The big news is, of course, that we now froze officially release 16. So we have still a few exceptions open, mainly on the stage 3 and mainly on the coding issues, but as a whole, release 16 is stable now, it's closed, and we have everything done that we set out to do. And actually for release 16, this was one of these 2 releases that we said, like release 15 and 16, that form the basis of 5G. So we really now completed this initial task. But don't worry, 5G obviously goes into the future. Release 17, release 18 are already moving forward. The main focus in all our discussions nowadays in most of the working groups is already release 17. So 5G will be developed into the future. And we see this also from the contributions at this plenary. The timeline for release 17, we are aware that we might need to shift again for a certain amount of time, but for the moment we halted these discussions. And what we said is we wait for September, when more working groups have better experience with the work on release 17. So currently the timelines are as we agreed them in March, and I think that's still a good message to the industry, and let's hope we can still keep that, but more news in September. What we approved, well, we have 1 new work item approved for release 16 still. That was the user plane integrity protection. To my understanding, an issue that the mission critical community also is very interested in. That was under longer discussion for quite a while. Now we showed again in this plenary our ability to find consensus, to come together and agree on things. So this item made it into release 16, and it will be completed until September. So this is one of the exceptions I talked about. We have 9 new release 17 studies approved, many of them in the security area for those items that we lately approved for SA2, so for the architecture. For example, on edge computing, on proximity services, on multicast broadcast. So all these issues now not only moving into the architecture development, but also the discussions start in parallel already on security and obviously also on the radio access side. And then we have 17 new released, 17 work items approved. This is a very high number. I want to say also there's a quite, well, some of them are what we call TI issues. These are smaller issues that should be able to be completed in 1 or 2 meetings. But the number shows clearly that our focus now is fully on release 17, and this work is moving forward now in the next few quarters. And then for release 18, we have 9 new studies. And for SA6, as usual, we see already that there's some mission critical related work is starting, gateway UE function for mission critical, and then for also something for the railways. But also on SA1 level, on the requirements, we see off-network for railways, 5G timing resiliency, residential 5G, all issues that in one way or the other might be useful for the mission critical and the public safety community. And that is something I want to stress, that since release 17 mainly, we see that all these requirements that are coming in from the different verticals, from the different organizations, including the public safety community, they are not like looking like silos anymore. So it's not one service that is specific for a specific group. It's more and more that the requirements also target at the core network, at the radio access and so on. We see like multicast broadcast, proximity services, the satellite integration. These are all things that practically arch over the complete system, where we need to do many changes in all aspects of our system, and where all the different verticals, or many of them, profit from them. So this is, I think, a very good sign. It shows that we're really integrating this vertical commitment into our technology, and that everybody who is working on 5G is also really working on the base system and advancing it. Yes, and then we also approved a number of technical specifications and technical reports for release 16. That was clear that this would happen, so those are practically the standards that are now approved. And our next meeting will be in September, and we will have a separate day for cross-TSG reporting and coordination. We saw this missing this time, that practically we need a bit more communication between RAN, CT, and SA, and we said we will do this on Monday, but only for issues that really require cross-TSG coordination. And on the next slide, I have a number of items that caused a bit more discussion at this plenary. The user plane integrity protection I already mentioned. The EAP aka prime, there was an identifier issue, mostly a UE implementation issue, where we formed a working agreement. This is still under discussion, and it might come up in the next plenary. We will see about that. Advanced quality of service profiles. This is also still a discussion going on, and is something that affects SA2 as well as RAN 3 and some of the CT groups. We had a discussion of adding a new feature, free-to-air support, into release 17 in SA2, and not also only in SA2 but also in RAN, to the multicast broadcast services. And this was noted. I think the direction is clear at the moment, that people say, well, we agree the content for release 17, and let's stick to that commitment that we did. And of course, we will always see discussions on that. And once we have the consensus on a certain issue, we can still add something. But in general, it's very clear, if you're bringing new ideas, if you're having new services that you want, you should really look into the release 18 work that is going on, mainly in SA1, but already also, as we saw, in SA6. Okay, that is practically everything I wanted to report from the meeting. I hope that this gives you a good summary, a good outlook. As I said, and what I emphasized, I want to emphasize again is 5G is ongoing, the development is ongoing, release 17, 18, they are all moving forward, and we are looking for your input. We need your input because your requirements and the services that you offer, they are part of the whole 5G system, and we need to integrate, and we also need to communicate with other players to best serve all the communities that work with us. Thank you very much. I wish you hopefully some holiday or vacation time, and also that you and your families stay safe and healthy. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Georg, from TSG SA point of view, and best of success to you, SA and 3GPP in general.
Thank you, Tero.